Hello and welcome along to After Effects Basics with your host Robert Smith. In this part 2 of creating an animated 3D look for a logo, let's have a look how far we've come in video 1. As you can see, I've imported my Illustrator file and each one of the layers is animating in 3D space along the Y rotation. Okay, so let's add a bit of drama to our scene. One of the beautiful things in After Effects is something called lights. We're going to add a light to this scene. And if you did the first video, you'll notice that we've put our background right back into space so we can cast some shadows onto it. Okay, now to do that, what I'm going to do is I need a new light, so I can go up to Layer, like New Light, like that. And up comes this new light dialog box. Now this can get quite complicated. We've got all sorts of different light spots, ambience, parallels. I tend to use a spotlight and a white one most of the time. Intensity to 100 is good. Cone angle is just a fancy way for size, a word for size I should say. Cone feather, well that just gives you a soft edge. Fall off's a bit tricky. What we really want is this cast shadows. See, normally it's off by default, so I'll put it on like that. And the shadow darkness is always too dark at 100%, so I'm going to drop that down to, say, 50% at this point, and click OK. Now you'll notice you get this big circle, like that, and now the scene seems to have a vignetted light applied to it. We're not seeing many shadows or anything much happening yet. Okay, so let's make that happen. Now you've got to tell After Effects each layer has to cast a shadow. We've got the light that's shining on the video, shining on the logo, and as you can see, as it goes in and out of the light it gets darker and lighter. Quite a nice look. Okay, so now what I'll just stop that, go back to the start. I'm going to open up this orange right layer, and under material options down here like this, you'll see a thing that says cast shadows, the first thing. So I'm going to click OK like that. You'll notice how it's cast a shadow on the texture in the background. Now as that spins around, this D spins around, you can see the shadow will follow it. Very nice indeed. Okay, I need to do that to all the layers, so I'll just stop that. Go in here like this, and as you can see I'm getting a little bit cramped for real estate here. So while I'm on the timeline here, I'm going to select, already done that layer, select those layers, press the tilde key like that. I actually have to do each one. I'm sure there's a shortcut for this, but I'm not sure what it is, so I'll just turn that on. Cast shadows on, next layer down, transform material options, cast shadows on, and the next layer down, same thing, material options, cast shadows on, and the next layer. There must be a shortcut for this, but I've forgotten what it is. So click that. Once I've done all that, press the tilde key again, and I'm back where I started from. Wow, look at my scene. There seems to be a lot happening now. As you can see, as everything spins around like this, there's a massive amount of shadow happening. Very nice indeed, but it's a bit confusing the way it is now. The shadow's far too dark. Like that. So what we might do is we'll go back to our light. It's quite a good look, very dramatic. So to soften the shadow a little bit, I'm going to go back to my light layer, open it up like that. Under light options, you'll see the same things you had when you actually created the light. We've got a shadow darkness. I'm just going to drop that right back to about 18%, so it's quite light. And I think the light needs to be a little bit brighter. So under intensity here, I'm just going to, you can always go above 100%, like that. Very nice. Let's have a look at that. That's more like it. Now you'll see that the machine starts to slow down. Once you introduce shadows and 3D worlds, it can get slowed down considerably. Okay, it's looking quite good. The logo's looking quite good. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to animate the light before we move on. I think the shadow's still a little bit too dark, so I'll just go in there under my light options here and drop that shadow darkness right back to about 9 or 10%, like this. But I'm going to animate that light as well. I want it just to sort of flush over it. Rather than stay in the same spot, we can animate lights like we can animate anything in After Effects. So to do that, I'm going to go back to the first frame, under my transform, under Y rotation. See how I can do this where it's like a spotlight that's searching. I can animate that look. I don't want to do too much, so I just might start it there. Put a keyframe, go to the end, and then make sure I'm right to the end of my timeline, like that, and give it about 7 degrees, so not much at all, just very, very subtle. Rotation, so the light's rotating just a little bit, like that. And as you can see, as it spins around, it comes, as the light hits it, it becomes more and more dramatic, like that. Very nice indeed. Okay, it's still a little bit hard to read because of the white against the lightish background, but that's basically the effect we're looking for. We're nearly there, so I'll just zoom that right back out, and let's have a look. There it is in real time. It's now running in real time. The lights have kicked in, and everything's looking really, really good. Okay, see you in the next video.